Let me start by saying something that might surprise you. The most dangerous thing about high blood pressure is not what you feel. It's what you don't feel. Many people are walking around right now, going about their day, laughing, working, even sleeping peacefully at night, completely unaware that their blood pressure is quietly rising to levels that can damage the heart, the brain, and the kidneys. It doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't send you a warning message. It works in silence, and that silence is exactly what makes it so dangerous. You see, we often associate health problems with clear symptoms. Pain, discomfort, fatigue, those are the signals we've been trained to respond to. But high blood pressure doesn't always play by those rules. It can stay hidden for years, while slowly putting strain on your blood vessels. Inside your body, your arteries may be stiffening, your heart may be working harder than it should, and yet on the outside, everything seems normal. That's why so many people only discover they have a problem after something serious happens. A stroke, a heart attack, or sudden dizziness that brings them to the hospital. Now think about your daily routine for a moment. From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, there are small, seemingly harmless habits that can quietly push your blood pressure higher. It might be the extra salt in your breakfast, the stress you carry from work or family responsibilities, the lack of proper rest, or even the constant rush that leaves your mind and body in a state of tension. None of these things feel dangerous in the moment. They feel normal, but over time they add up. Stress, in particular, is one of the biggest contributors. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones that cause your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to tighten. This response is useful in short bursts. It's your body's way of protecting you. But when stress becomes a daily companion, that temporary reaction turns into a constant state. Your blood pressure doesn't get the chance to come back down fully. It stays elevated, quietly increasing the risk of long-term damage. Then there's salt. It's in almost everything we eat, sometimes in amounts we don't even realize. Processed foods, snacks, even meals that don't taste particularly salty, can contain high levels of sodium. And when you consume too much of it, your body holds on to extra water. That extra fluid increases the pressure in your blood vessels, forcing your heart to work harder. Again, this doesn't come with a warning sign you can feel. It happens beneath the surface. Sleep is another piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your body doesn't have the chance to reset. Your nervous system stays more active than it should, and your blood pressure remains higher for longer periods. Over time, poor sleep patterns can make it much harder for your body to regulate itself. Now here's where it becomes even more important to understand waiting until you feel something is not a safe strategy. By the time symptoms appear, the pressure may have already been high for quite a while. The damage doesn't happen overnight. It builds slowly, quietly, and consistently. That's why awareness is not just helpful, it's essential. Awareness means knowing your numbers. It means checking your blood pressure regularly, even when you feel perfectly fine. It means paying attention to your lifestyle, not with fear, but with intention. Because the truth is, this is not about panic. This is about control. And the good news, because there is good news, is that high blood pressure is one of the most manageable conditions when you catch it early. Small changes applied consistently can make a significant difference. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to start noticing, start adjusting, and start taking those first simple steps. What I want you to take away from this moment is a shift in perspective. Don't wait for your body to shout before you listen. Learn to respond to the quiet signals, the routines, the habits, the patterns that shape your health every single day. Because when you become aware, you move from being passive to being proactive. You take control before the situation takes control of you. And as we move forward, I'm going to show you just how simple it can be to begin lowering that pressure, starting with techniques you can use almost immediately, because the earlier you act, the stronger your heart remains. Now let's move into something powerful, something simple, immediate, and surprisingly effective. Because after understanding the silent nature of high blood pressure, the next question becomes, what can you actually do in the moment to bring it down? Not tomorrow, not next week, but right here, right now. And this is where many people underestimate the power they already have within their own body. Your breath, yes, something you've been doing every second of your life, can become one of your strongest tools in controlling your blood pressure. But the key is not just breathing, it's how you breathe. Most of us go through our day breathing in a shallow, rapid way without even realizing it, especially when we're stressed, distracted, or rushing from one task to another. Our breathing becomes shorter and faster. This kind of breathing sends a signal to your body that something is wrong, even if there's no real danger. It activates your stress response, causing your heart to beat faster and your blood vessels to tighten. And when that happens, your blood pressure rises. Now imagine reversing that signal. When you slow your breathing down intentionally, gently, you send a completely different message to your body. You tell your nervous system, it's okay. You can relax now. And your body listens. Your heart rate begins to slow. Your blood vessels begin to widen. The tension you didn't even realize you were holding starts to release. And just like that, your blood pressure begins to come down. This is not theory. This is physiology. It's how your body is designed to work. Let me guide you through something very simple. Wherever you are, you can do this. You don't need any equipment. You don't need a special setting. Just bring your attention inward for a moment. Breathe in slowly through your nose, not quickly, not forceful. Just a calm, steady inhale. Feel your chest expand, your lungs filling gently. Then pause for a brief moment, not holding tightly, just a soft pause. And then exhale slowly, longer than your inhale, letting the air leave your body in a controlled, relaxed way. And as you do that, notice what happens. Your shoulders begin to drop. Your face softens. There's a subtle shift, but a real one. That is your body responding. Now imagine doing this for just a few minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You don't need a long session to feel the effects. Even a short period of controlled breathing can start to lower your blood pressure. And the more consistently you practice it, the more your body learns to return to that calm state more easily. This is especially important during moments of stress. Think about those times when your emotions start to rise: frustration, anxiety, pressure from responsibilities. In those moments, your blood pressure can spike quickly. But instead of reacting immediately, instead of letting that wave take over, you can pause and breathe. Just a few slow, deep breaths can interrupt that cycle. And what makes this technique so powerful is its accessibility. You can do it anywhere, sitting in your living room, lying in bed before sleep, even in the middle of a busy day. No one around you even needs to know you're doing it. It becomes your private reset button. For those of you who struggle with sleep, this can also be a gentle way to prepare your body for rest. Slow breathing before bedtime helps quiet the mind and relax the body, allowing your blood pressure to settle naturally as you drift into sleep. And remember, better sleep itself contributes to better blood pressure control. So this one habit supports you in more ways than one. Now, I want to be clear about something. This is not about perfection. You don't need to count every second or follow a rigid pattern. What matters is the intention, the slowing down, the awareness, the consistency. Even if your mind wanders, even if it doesn't feel perfect, your body is still benefiting. And over time, something interesting begins to happen. You become more aware of your own state. You start to notice when your breathing becomes shallow, when your body tenses up, when stress begins to build. And instead of ignoring it, you respond. You take control in that moment, gently guiding your body back to a calmer state. That's where the real power lies, not just in the technique itself, but in the awareness it creates. Because when you combine awareness with action, you break the cycle. You stop being at the mercy of stress, and you start influencing how your body reacts to it. And that influence, repeated day after day, becomes a habit, a natural response, a tool you can rely on without even thinking about it. So as we continue this journey of lowering blood pressure in simple, practical ways, I want you to remember this. Your breath is always with you. It's steady, it's reliable, and when used with intention, it can become one of the most effective ways to calm your heart and protect your health. And sometimes, the most powerful change begins with something as simple as slowing down and taking a single, deep breath. Now, let's talk about something that many people misunderstand when it comes to lowering blood pressure. The moment they hear the word exercise, they imagine intense workouts, long hours at the gym, exhaustion, and sometimes even pain. And because of that image, they hesitate, they delay. They tell themselves, I'll start when I have more energy, when I have more time, when I feel ready. But here's the truth I want you to really understand. Lowering your blood pressure does not require extreme effort. It requires intentional movement. Your body was designed to move, and when it moves regularly, even in simple ways, something remarkable begins to happen inside you. Your blood starts to circulate more efficiently. Your blood vessels become more flexible. Your heart doesn't have to struggle as much to push blood through your system. And gradually, your blood pressure begins to come down, not because you forced it, but because you supported your body in doing what it was naturally meant to do. Think about what happens when you sit for long periods. The body becomes still, circulation slows, muscles tighten, and your blood vessels can become less responsive. Over time, this lack of movement contributes to increased pressure within the system. But the moment you stand up, stretch, or take a few steps, you begin to reverse that process. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple walk, just a few minutes, can make a difference. Not a rushed walk, not something that leaves you breathless, but a steady, comfortable pace. As you walk, your muscles gently contract and relax, helping to push blood through your vessels more efficiently. Your heart begins to beat in a more balanced rhythm, and your body starts to release some of that built-up tension. Now imagine doing that consistently. A few minutes here, a few minutes there. It adds up. And more importantly, it builds a rhythm within your body, a pattern of movement that your system begins to expect and respond to. For many people, especially as they get older, there's a fear of overdoing it. They worry that movement might strain the heart or cause discomfort. But what I'm encouraging here is not intensity, it's consistency. Gentle, regular activity is far more effective and far more sustainable than occasional bursts of extreme effort. You can begin with something as simple as stretching in the morning. Before you even start your day, take a moment to gently move your arms, your legs, your neck. Wake up your body slowly. Let your muscles loosen. This alone can help reduce stiffness in your blood vessels and prepare your body for the day ahead. Then, as you go through your day, look for small opportunities to move. Instead of sitting for hours without a break, stand up every so often. Walk across the room. Step outside for fresh air. Even light household activities, tidying up, organizing, moving from one place to another. These are all forms of movement that support your circulation. And if you can, make walking a daily habit. It doesn't have to be long. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It's enough to begin with. What matters is that you do it regularly. You create a routine that becomes part of your lifestyle, not something you struggle to maintain. There's also something else that movement does, something that goes beyond the physical. It helps clear the mind. When you move your body, especially in a calm and steady way, you begin to release mental tension as well. Stress starts to ease. Your thoughts become less cluttered. And as we've already discussed, reducing stress plays a direct role in lowering blood pressure. So you see, this is not just about muscles or exercise. It's about creating balance within your entire system. Now, let me gently address something that often holds people back. The idea that if they can't do a lot, it's not worth doing anything at all. That thinking can be very limiting, because the truth is, small actions, repeated consistently, can lead to meaningful change. You don't need to do everything. You just need to start somewhere. Even on days when you feel tired, even on days when your energy is low, a little movement is still better than none. In fact, those are often the days when your body needs it the most. Not to push you to exhaustion, but to gently reawaken your system. And over time, as your body adapts, you may find that your capacity increases naturally. What once felt like effort begins to feel easier. What once felt like a task begins to feel like a normal part of your day. This is how lasting change happens, not through force, but through consistency and patience. So, as you continue to think about managing your blood pressure, I want you to shift your perspective on movement. Don't see it as something difficult or overwhelming. See it as something supportive, something that works with your body rather than against it. Because every step you take, every stretch you make, every moment you choose to move instead of staying still, you are helping your heart, you are easing the pressure in your vessels, and you are moving closer to a healthier, more balanced state. And sometimes, all it takes to begin that journey is simply standing up and taking that first step. Now, let's bring this all together by focusing on something that seems very simple on the surface, yet has a profound impact on your blood pressure. How you hydrate your body, and how mindful you are about salt in your daily life. These are not complicated medical interventions. They are everyday choices, often overlooked, but incredibly powerful when handled with awareness. Let me start with hydration, because many people underestimate just how important water is in maintaining balance within the body. Your blood is not just cells. It is also fluid, and when your body does not have enough water, that fluid balance shifts. The blood can become more concentrated, your circulation can become less efficient, and your heart has to work harder to move it through your system. That extra effort can contribute to higher blood pressure. Now think about how often you go through the day without drinking enough water. You may be busy, distracted, or simply not in the habit of reaching for it regularly. Sometimes people only drink when they feel thirsty. But by the time you feel thirst, your body is already asking for help. It's already a step behind. What I encourage you to do is to make hydration a steady, gentle habit throughout your day. Not excessive, not forced, but consistent. A glass of water in the morning after you wake up, another mid-morning, one in the afternoon, and again in the evening. Small amounts spaced out. This helps your body maintain a stable internal environment, allowing your blood vessels to function more efficiently and reducing unnecessary strain on your heart. And there's something else that happens when you stay well hydrated. Your body becomes better at regulating itself overall. Your energy improves, your circulation becomes smoother, and even your ability to manage stress can improve. It all connects. Now, let's talk about salt, because this is where awareness becomes very important. Salt, or sodium, is not the enemy in itself. Your body actually needs a certain amount of it to function properly. But the challenge today is not deficiency, it's excess. Salt has found its way into so many of the foods we eat, often in amounts far beyond what the body truly needs. When you consume too much sodium, your body holds on to extra water in order to balance it. That extra fluid increases the volume of blood in your vessels, and as a result, the pressure within those vessels rises. It's like increasing the amount of water flowing through a pipe without changing the size of the pipe. The pressure builds. The difficult part is that this doesn't always come from obvious sources. It's not just the salt you add with your hand. It's hidden in packaged foods, processed meals, snacks, sauces, and even foods that don't taste particularly salty. This is why many people feel they are eating normally, yet their sodium intake remains high. So the goal here is not to eliminate salt completely, but to become more conscious of where it is coming from. Begin to notice your choices. When possible, opt for fresh, whole foods that you can prepare yourself. When you do use salt, use it lightly. Allow your taste buds to adjust gradually. Over time, you may find that you don't need as much as you once did. There's also a powerful connection between hydration and sodium. When you drink enough water, your body is better able to balance sodium levels. Your kidneys can do their job more effectively, filtering out what is not needed and maintaining equilibrium. But when you are dehydrated, that balance becomes harder to achieve, and the effects of excess sodium become more pronounced. So you see, these two elements, water and salt, are not separate. They work together. And when you manage them with awareness, you create an internal environment that supports healthier blood pressure levels. Now, I want to gently remind you of something important. This is not about making drastic changes overnight. It's about small, consistent adjustments that fit into your life naturally. You don't need to measure every drop of water or calculate every grain of salt. What matters is your intention and your awareness. Perhaps you start by keeping a glass of water nearby, making it easier to sip throughout the day. Perhaps you begin to read labels a little more carefully, noticing sodium content where you didn't before. Perhaps you choose to cook one more meal at home each week instead of relying on processed options. These are simple steps, but they carry real impact, and just like the other techniques we've discussed, breathing, movement, this is something that becomes easier with time. The more you practice, the more natural it feels. It becomes part of your routine, not something you have to constantly think about. When you combine all of these elements, awareness of your body, control of your breath, gentle and consistent movement, and mindful hydration and sodium balance, you begin to create a lifestyle that supports your heart rather than working against it. This is how real, lasting change happens. Not through complexity, but through simplicity done well, day after day. Because in the end, protecting your blood pressure is not about one big action. It's about the small choices you make consistently, the quiet adjustments that guide your body back to balance. And sometimes, the most powerful step you can take is simply choosing to nourish your body with what it truly needs.